In this first ChatGPT hands-on demo in this course, I'm going to show you that you can use ChatGPT to help you learn concepts in Matlab, in particular by asking ChatGPT to explain something that you don't understand. And the example is going to be the colon operator. Now, I hope that I gave a good explanation and good demonstration of the colon operator that you understand it. But, not everyone learns from me. I don't um, think that I can explain it well for absolutely everyone who is taking this course. So, but it's also just an illustration of how to use ChatGPT to explain concepts in Matlab. Okay, so here's my prompt. Can you explain how to use the colon operator in Matlab to produce a vector of even numbers? Now, if ChatGPT were just a very simplistic, very minimalistic program, it could simply write an example, right? So it could just say, 0, 2, or maybe I'll start with 2, skip 6. And that could be its reply, end of story. But let's see what ChatGPT responds. So ChatGPT gives a really great reply. It's telling us that the colon operator is useful for creating vectors. It gives us the general framework, and then it interprets each of these points. So it's saying start and step and end. It's defining what these mean. And then it's getting, so this is a general explanation, which has nothing to do with the specific sub-question that I asked it for. And then it gets to that question of creating a vector of even numbers. So it's explaining that you can do this with a step of 2. It gives an example of going from 2 to 10 in steps of 2. It tells us what the output is going to be. And then it's going even further, which is way beyond the answer that or the question that I directly asked it. But ChatGPT is inferring from the syntax and from the structure of a question that we are trying to learn something. And so ChatGPT is going beyond this basic explanation and saying that we can also use a variable to define the upper boundary. So we can set n equals 20 or whatever value you want. And then it's even going further and telling us what would happen if we set n to be 19, for example. Then the vector will stop at, in this case, if we set n equals 19, then this vector, vec, would go up to 18 because that is the closest value you can get without going above 19. So very nice illustration of how to use ChatGPT to explain a concept in Matlab. I want to show you another example that builds off of this. And again, the colon operator is, it's a little weird to grasp in the beginning. Many students struggle with it, especially for counting backwards. And I often show this example, and students often struggle to understand why they cannot count backwards in integers from 10 to 1 when using 1 as the step size. And it seems like this should work. I also remember first learning MATLAB a very, very long time ago and struggling with exactly the same thing. Okay, so basically the idea is now we have code. It's not working. We don't understand why it's not working. And we're asking ChatGPT to help us understand that code. Okay, so I'm telling ChatGPT, the code doesn't do what I thought it should. Please explain why it's not working. Here's the code, and I thought it would count backwards from 10 to 1 in steps of 1. Notice the level of detail and context that I am providing ChatGPT. I'm telling it my goals, I'm giving it background, I'm giving it example code in quotes. ChatGPT will figure out that this is the MATLAB code. And I'm also saying what I was expecting to happen. In general, the more detail, the more context you can provide to ChatGPT, the more accurate and appropriate and useful its answer is going to be. Okay, so ChatGPT starts by redefining the how the colon operator works. And then it's basically saying that the answer is to have it be, to have the step value be negative. So it's explaining that in plain English, and then it's giving you code. Now, again, a minimalistic, not super useful system could have just dumped out this, right? It could have just said, here's the answer, you have to do this. But ChatGPT recognizes that we're not just looking for code, we're looking for some explanation to understand something. And then, so then ChatGPT is basically providing a much longer answer here.